The title today is Surface Area of Rectangular Prisms. From your title, I would like you to come down about 2 squares, a little bit, a quarter in on the page. Make your first dot. We're going to have a square. Well, first of all, we're going to have the top to a rectangular prism. So just go 4 across, and I'll teach you how to draw the rest. Then come down 2 squares and over 1. Starting on the right, come down 2 squares and over 1. And then that will give us another line segment of 4. Connecting those 2 edges. Okay, next, we're going to come down from this top dot, 6 with a dotted line. And the reason we use a dashed line is that line is actually not going to be visible when the whole prism is done. Coming from the front dot, we go down 6. And the other front dot, we go down 6. And we'll connect that across with the units of 4. From the rear, we'll do a solid line down 6. Okay, now again, these lines in the back of the prism, you wouldn't be able to see if the prism was solid, so we make those dashed lines to demonstrate that they're there but not visible. And then finally we connect the last line. And you've drawn a rectangular prism. Now we're going to label that. We're going to have a height of 6, a width or a length of 4, depending on how you look at it, and 2. So go ahead and label. The next thing we're going to do is draw the net of that rectangular prism. So we're going to make one line down that is 10. Then the first tab will be over 4 and down 2. And then on the bottom side, we'll also go over 4 and up 2. So then from this edge, this last point, we're going to go 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll connect those. Now what we're going to be creating is a net. Now this net could be folded in such a way to create this rectangular prism. So we know that for the first section we need 2 to correlate to this edge of 2, and it would be by 4 because that's the width that we need. So this piece would be folded, and this piece would be folded right here. Okay, and then we need a space that is 6 by 4, so we're going to count in 4. And then we'll need to be able to fold that back so that it has a side of 2 right here. And then another 4. Which leaves us with the final edge of 2. Okay, now when we're talking about surface area, we're talking about, for instance, how much cardboard it would take to make this box. And so surface area, what we did last year, and what you remember doing, is adding up all of the areas of each side. Or in math, we would call it a face. So in this case, let's talk about what our areas are. Remember, everything that's a rectangle is length times width. So 2 times 4 is 8. 6 times 4 would be 24. Then we have another 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 24 and 12. And just to help make you see where our totals are, I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. So those are the numbers that we're going to need to add up in order to find the surface area of this prism. Surface area equals then 8 plus 24 plus 8 plus 12 plus 24 plus 12. And just to do a quick check mentally, if this rectangular prism has 6 faces, how many numbers should I have? 6 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we haven't left any side out. And when you add that up, you find that the surface area will equal 88 units what? Squared. Good. Now from our work with that, we can discover a formula that makes it easier for us than finding the steps of each of those sides. So the formula that we're going to use now that you're 8th graders, which most of you will begin to love because it is easier, is 2 times the base, notice it's a capital B, plus the perimeter times the height. Okay, so once you have the formula written down, let's add a few definitions there. So the B is the area of the base. The capital P is the perimeter of the shape of that base. And the H is the height. So now looking back at our original shape, we know we're supposed to get 88 units squared. So we're going to just look at the base. Now the base in this picture is, what is it sitting on? So what's the area of the base? 4 times 2 is 8. So for this shape, we have the surface area, which is 2 times 8 plus, what's the perimeter of this shape? We have 4, and so there has to be a 4 there, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the perimeter of this shape would be 12 times, and the height, sorry, I have to keep going back and forth so you can see, is 6. Okay, so now using your calculators, go ahead and calculate for me what the surface area will be using the formula. We'll be using the calculators all day. So 2 times 8, we have 16. And what did you get when you did 12 times 6? 72. And when we add those things up, we should get the exact same surface area we got when we used the adding method of 88 units squared. So you've been finding surface area for most of your middle school career. The change is that now all of our work is going to be done with this formula. So make sure you have that formula very clearly written down, and that's what we'll be using for rectangular prisms.